Hey, whoa. That is right. You are listening. Had the mic muted there to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. Yes, I am your host, Todd Huff. Email, as always, Todd@ToddHuffShow.com. We're on YouTube, hour number 2. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. It's good to have you. Thank you for joining us today on YouTube. Hour number 1's on Facebook. Hour number 1's you can download as a podcast. I mentioned last hour as well that this is our 5-year anniversary. 5 years ago today, I launched what was originally called, believe it or not, the Antidote to Liberalism. There's some I look back here on this back shelf because there's some stuff that says the Antidote to Liberalism on it. But that was the name of the program. It launched August 10th, 2015. I took that program. I had never done anything like this. I had studied political talk for a long time. It's something that, I had experience with political debates, discussions in college. I shared that it was often me versus the class at American University in Washington, D.C., where I did a semester exchange program. I actually attended Butler University, but we did a semester exchange program, and I ended up at American University back in 1999, believe it or not, 21 years ago. Yikes. But so it's something that I'd wanted to do for a long time. You can go back to that period of time. 1999 is really when I got an interest in political talk radio, and so I'd been studying and, different things but it was a long evolution. And then in August of 2015, the opportunity presented itself for me to start podcasting, and I did that. I took this program, the Antidote to Liberalism back then, to Freedom 95, which is where we air now. It's our flagship station here in Indianapolis. And start off at 2 a.m., then we moved to morning drive, then we expanded, and now we're really expanding in lots of ways, and so I hope there's more good things to come. But I just want to tell you thank you off the top. Hour number 2 here, as well as I did in hour number 1. This has been quite an experience for me, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the opportunities and for you in listening to this program. So thank you for that. All right, so last hour, we talked about Trump's executive orders. We talked about just what they were. We talked about the lay of the land. We talked about how the Democrat Party wants to see bad economic. I'm talking about the leaders. I'm not talking about your neighbor. I could be talking about your neighbor, but I'm really not talking about your neighbor. In most cases, these are rank and file folks are not the ones who are, perpetrating or talking this nonsense, wanting these things to be. They don't want to see the economy hurt. They might believe in radical policies, or at least have been hoodwinked into thinking they're not as radical as they are. But they're not. The average Democrat's not rooting for a bad economy. But Democrats like Bill Maher are. Bill Maher has been cheering for a economic calamity, a recession, for at least a couple of years, and I would maintain long before that. The second that Bill Maher, and I don't know if Bill Maher doesn't strike me as a guy that participated in the cry-ins and that screams at the universe, every election day or whatever it is that the universe has given us President Trump, or whatever nonsense that amounts to from the left. He doesn't strike me as that guy. People surprise you, but I'm pretty sure he's not the guy that was crying. I think he was probably one that quickly came to his senses and thought, here's our strategy X, Y, and Z. And, oh, by the way, it would be a good thing if the economy was terrible for people. So here he is. This goes back to 2018 when he's on the record saying this.
That's ridiculous to me.
Okay.
Ben Bernanke, conservative Republican.
It's jumping ahead of me. But here he is on his show, Bill, what is it? What is the name of his show? Real Time. Is that it? Yeah, HBO show Real Time. Is that it? Anyway, here he is explaining his belief, his hope for a bad economy because that helps get rid of President Trump. I want you to listen to this again from 2018. I think it was June 8th or 9th, 2018. Here it is.
That's ridiculous to me.
Can I ask about the economy? Because this economy is going pretty well. We have to, what? Why is that funny?
Hey, it is going well for now.
For now, right. That's my, thank you. That's my question. I feel like the bottom has to fall out at some point. And by the way, I'm hoping for it because I think one way you get rid of Trump is a crashing economy. Yeah. So please bring on the recession. Yeah. Sorry if that hurts people, but it's either root for a recession or you lose your democracy.
Trump is doing everything you can.
All right, there you go. Either root for a recession or you lose your democracy, whatever the world that's supposed to mean. So that is what they want. Again, I'm not talking about your neighbor. I could be, but I'm probably talking more along the lines about the people who are in the world of talking about politics every day, the media, the leadership in the Democratic Party, representatives, senators, presidential candidates. As I'm looking here at Biden's short list of candidates for VP, it is not impressive. There's at least one communist on there, or communist sympathizer. There is one make-believe Native American on there. And by the way, I'm related. Some of you may not know this. A genealogical study has shown that I am the 13th great-grandson of Pocahontas. That's a true story, by the way. I love having that. First of all, fascinating. Everybody's family history fascinating. You can go back and you see, who you're related to, how your family came to be in the United States of America, the people in your past and different things. It's just fascinating. The story of our lineage and our ancestry is an awesome thing. I think it's great. But she is Pocahontas. It's pretty cool to look in our family tree and see Powhatan, the leader of an Indian nation, Native American nation, his daughter Pocahontas, who married John Rolfe, also our relative. That's, I think, the first Europeans that came to this country. I think he was the first one that was related to me, from what I can find, at least on that side of my family. But as the official, undesignated but official spokesperson of the Pocahontas family, I can tell you that we're not bothered. We're not bothered when President Trump calls Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas, because she's the one that's trying to benefit politically from identity politics. So we don't like her just as the official undesignated spokesperson for the family. I just want to say that we're okay with Trump mocking her in return because it's just nonsensical. But anyway, I'm looking at the cast of characters that Biden is presenting, and this is all, everything is politics, and they've ramped this thing up to where they're trying to get as much play from the media about his VP pick. It's almost a month later in the cycle than President Trump made his VP pick back in 2016. I'm inclined to think that people, they're not sure if they want this job. That's what I've said this a couple of times now. I want to be on the record saying I'm not sure. In fact, I saw an open letter to Kamala Harris. I just saw it this morning. Don't accept VP. Be Attorney General. Be Attorney General. Don't be VP. And I think that there's more reasons for that than people care to admit. But anyway, this is all political. They're cheering for a recession because it helps, they think, in their sick and demented way of looking at things. They think that it helps Joe Biden. So that's what this is about. So Trump says, enough of that. I'm not playing this game. I'm going to issue executive orders. And now suddenly the Democrats care about the Constitution, the Democrat Party. Suddenly they find things wrong, even though Congress has abdicated many responsibilities from their branch to the presidency. Now, you should say the president should not take advantage of that. You could say, but if he can, he can. And I don't know. Look, I know the way the founders wrote things, this is not the way that legislation is supposed to get passed. But if you look at things through the way that the legislative branch has kicked that can down the road or passed that buck over to the executive branch, it's not necessarily as cut and dry. It's not necessarily a clear-cut thing that these are unconstitutional orders. Trump's relishing the opportunity. You want to sue him, Democrat Party? You want to sue President Trump for doing things to help Americans right now through this difficult time? And I'm not even saying it's good or I'm just good or bad policy at this point. I'm simply saying, based upon how this looks, the optics of this, this is where the Democrats usually mop the floor with Republicans. It's not based upon the quality of their ideas. It's based upon the marketing, the positioning, the branding. That's what's going on here. President Trump is every bit as good. Actually, he's better. He's better at this than they are. And this is the first time this has happened in my lifetime. Normally, this just is anywhere near the case. Republicans conservatives have the ideas, but Democrats have the messaging. I'm reminded of Nancy Pelosi a couple of years ago. Actually, a year or so ago, I'm going to say that. She was on during an interview. It may have been before the 2018 midterms, now that I go back and think about this. But she said, our problem isn't that we don't have good ideas. Our problem is that is the messaging. The heck, it's the messaging. The messaging is a smoke and mirrors performance. The messaging keeps people from understanding really what it is the Democrat Party is seeking to do in modern politics. That's the only thing that helps them is the messaging, the positioning, the branding, getting some people out there that are cool and hip to promote this to the millennials and the Gen Zers out there. Get people to explain why it is that these ideas are great and hip and cool. And Bernie, it's how Bernie is portrayed as an outsider, right? I mean, this is how this works. They've got the marketing, they've got the branding, they've got the ability to make it look like something that it's not. So President Trump taking a playbook right from their own, right out of the old playbook of the Democrats, taking a page right out of their playbook, says, I'm going to dare you to sue me. Take this to court. Be on record of saying we don't want people to have $400 extra unemployment a week. Be on record as saying that, because you've been telling us for the past umpteen years, as my mom would say, that you're pushing Granny off the cliff, right? We've seen political ads where Republicans are pushing Granny off the cliff in her wheelchair. You've seen these ads. How Republicans want to kill Grandma, feed her dog food, and all this kind of stuff. Oh, my gosh. And then Trump says, sue me, I dare you. And by the way, this goes into the legal system, and it's not, I will grant you that this is not the way that legislation is supposed, it's not legislation. This is not the way that things are supposed to work. In fact, it's one of my, it is the central core of my beef, this exact sort of thing with the way that we've responded to COVID, right? The state legislatures aren't acting. We've got all these orders and declarations from governors and other folks, but no law. I mean, at least not from the states that I've followed, and definitely not from the federal government. These things have all been declarations or executive actions taken by governors and so forth. And that's not the way that decisions are supposed to be made. Executive orders are supposed to be kind of a framework or some guidance provided by the president or a governor in a state as to how duly passed law is going to be enforced, right? It's not supposed to be something made up out of whole cloth like DACA. It's supposed to be, in order to comply with this law, I'm making the following declarations so as to allow this law to be able to be, enforceable or workable or whatever the circumstances, to reassign resources, whatever it is. But you're not allowed to wake up today and say, hey, executive order, America is suddenly a communist economy, right? That's not the way that's supposed to work. In fact, that's completely anti-constitutional in more than one way. But the point is Trump on the political side is daring them, come after me. Let's take this to the American people, Democrats. Let's let them see that you're on the side of saying your plan, which is $0, is better than my plan, which is $400 a month or whatever. Delayed, payments of unemployment, protecting renters and homeowners from being evicted and so forth. You want to be on the wrong side of that? 60 to 90 days out, well, closer to 90 from an election? Go for it. I dare you. Democrats are in a tough position because Democrats view the world. Everything's political. So they're in a tough position here. So we'll see how this plays out. But as it now stands, those are the executive orders. So a few more things on this next segment, wrap it up, and move into some other issues as well. Quick time out. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Looking to make a conservative, not bitter fashion statement? Check out our apparel online, including brand new items at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
It's been said that we often make the mistake of hiring people based upon what they know, yet we almost always fire them because of who they are. If you've ever made this mistake when choosing a company to do work on your home, you know exactly how agonizing this can be. The company may offer quality products, have certified technicians, offer a stellar warranty, but they're late, or they hit you with hidden charges, or they're rude, or worse. Why not get the best of both worlds by choosing Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing? Economy installs high-quality trained products, and they're trained and certified to provide the absolute highest levels of expertise in central Indiana today. And they provide the kind of service you'd expect from a Christian company. In fact, they specifically seek to deliver a Romans 12, 10, and 11 kind of experience for each and every job they do. So call Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing today at 317-831-5279 or visit economyheatingandair.com. That's economyheatingandair.com.
I love my community, and I wanted to do more to make a difference with my hard-earned dollars. I wanted to make an impact and help shape our future and our county. So I gave money to the Community Foundation of Morgan County. More than just charitable giving, the money I donate is tracked and measured so every dollar is held accountable. It's a social return on your investment. Why don't you join me in donating at cfmconline.org? That's cfmconline.org. Philanthropy with measurable impact.
Ever wondered what shooting a real machine gun feels like? At Indie Trading Post, you can have an awesome and safe shooting experience in our family-friendly environment. Firing a weapon on full auto is something you will always remember. Schedule some range time today and let Indie Trading Post give you the real machine gun shooting experience. We guarantee you'll have a blast. Give us a call at 317-782-4867 or schedule your range time at fullautoindy.com.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. That's 800-764-9168.
Indy Decorative Concrete is hiring immediately. They're looking for workers with experience finishing concrete. Pay is $25 to $30 per hour with weekly overtime. All jobs are located within the city of Indianapolis. Call 317-784-1464 or apply in person at their offices located at 8366 Brookville Road, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46239. They're open Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information, visit their website, www.indiedecorativeconcrete.com. www.indiedecorativeconcrete.com.
This is the sound of your typical do-it-yourselfer in completely over his head.
For heating, plumbing,
and electrical done right.
Call Mr. Quick. Call Mr. Quick. Dial the number, spell the word for on time.
Welcome back. Now, I would be a hypocrite if I would have tell you that I don't care what President Trump does, in the sense of, you know, he can. This is a problem. We can't say this is a theoretical problem. I'm talking, you know, whether or not it applies to this. That's a different discussion. But just let me state the problem here. The problem is, for many people, when their party, their guy, whatever, their girl, their black woman that Biden may be picking, he better, Maxine Waters says, better pick a black woman. Biden committed to picking a woman even before he knew anything about the people that were, would entertain this. Biden has told us that, again, as I said before, what makes a black woman qualified that makes a white woman unqualified? Or what makes a make-believe Native American qualified and not a real Native American qualified? Maybe that's a better question. Joe Biden, I see Elizabeth Warren on your short list, allegedly, supposedly, reportedly, whatever. What makes her qualified as a fake Native American? And why does it make someone who's a Native American female or male unqualified? I need to understand that. Just the superficiality of this stuff is off the charts in my estimation. Anyway, but people, when their party, their guy, their girl, whatever's in charge, they'll excuse whatever behavior they exhibit to accomplish what they want them to accomplish in office. Right? The ends justify the means. That's the way they look at this. Whatever happens, if it advances liberalism, we don't care how we got there. I don't want to fall into that boat. I don't want to fall into that category. I think that we should look at these things with scrutiny and be fair. I want to make sure. I mean, look, the job of the legislative branch is to legislate. That's their job. Unfortunately, what they've done, and this applies to both parties, but many of them have turned it into nothing more than a full-time self-promotion gig. I really believe that. A full-time self-promotion gig. And I'm not talking just by being in the media and showing up for media appearances. I actually want to see our representatives, conservatives, appear on every media outlet possible. I want to see them try to move the needle and convince people for constitutional conservatism. I want to see that. But I'm talking about when they're on the airwaves because they want to increase the odds of them getting reelected. I'm talking about when I hear them talking about issues that they have listed as fundamental problems in America for a long time, that they've run on time and time again, gotten elected on, and then they've done nothing to address. That's what I'm talking about. So they view their job as nothing more than a full-time, politician or basically campaigner. That's how they view themselves, and that they've abdicated a lot of their responsibility to the executive branch. And if you look at how Trump is funding these things, I'm telling you, there is a roadmap for the legality, this being legal. Now, whether it actually is, I mean, these are questions for that involve some study. But I will tell you, in the larger sense, the president we shouldn't be at this point. But we're not there because Trump wished it into existence. We're there because The legislative branch has gotten us there because they've passed off their responsibilities to the president. And there is something uniquely, I don't know, at least interesting to see the folks who've been there their whole lives, who have voted for this sort of stuff to be the way that it works, and then to complain because of how it's used. That's another strategy, by the way, that the left uses. They create a problem, then they try to solve it, then they make it worse, and the cycle goes on and on and on. So President Trump says, I think President Trump is looking at this simply at this point as a exercise in politics. He has staked and he has placed the MAGA flag, the Trump 2020 flag, firmly in the area that says, the area that represents helping people. Congress can't come together and address it. So Trump says, you guys own not doing anything, as I am going to own. I'm going to own the real estate that says I'm trying to help our people continue to get through this coronavirus crisis, this economic crisis that's been created by a mixture of the actual coronavirus itself, plus the way that our governments, state, federal, local governments have reacted to this, creating much of this themselves. Trump says, I'm going to be the guy that's going to have signed these executive orders. You going to oppose that politically? 90 days from an election, you really going to do that, Chuck and Nancy? You're really going to, Chuck's out there, Chuck Schumer saying it's not enough. All Trump has to say, it's a lot less or a lot more than what your zero is. Your zero is, I know that the radical left has a hard time with math and numbers, but your zero, Chuck Schumer, what you've come up with, is less than my $400 proposal. And it's also kind of a brilliant, again, I'm not talking, I've said what I want to say about the constitutional issue. Congress needs to reclaim its authority over these executive discretions that they've given to him. Not just to Trump, to the presidency at large. They need to reclaim that. Then they need to put their big boy and big girl pants on and deal with these issues. But the problem is, what I said first segment of first hour, is that we have people in this country, in our chambers of Congress, right, the House and the Senate, who are actually rooting against the success of the United States of America, of individual citizens, because they think that failure and economic turmoil and economic recession actually helps their party in their reelection bid. This is nothing more. This whole thing is politics at play. For the next 90 days, there's substantively nothing is going to be pushed through for Republicans, right? I mean, they're not going to go out there and try to do something that's, that's maybe they have support for, but not strong support. Maybe some stuff that fundamentally needs to be done if it's going to create political problems in the short term. All that's on hold. All that stuff's on hold. And I don't know how much some of these jokers really wanted to do it anyway. But Trump says, look, this is the way we're going to play the political game. I've put this stake in the ground, and now I, President Trump, I'm the guy that's given people hope. Congress is the group led by Chuck and Nancy. They're the ones that, look, Republicans would have, by and large, come on board with what I just put into an executive order. I can hear Trump saying this. The Democrats are obstructionists. Slip of the tongue if I said Democrats there. But Democrats are obstructionists. They don't want to see anything done here. They want to see difficulty. They want to politicize this. They want to use this to their advantage. This is politics playing out, and Trump is more masterful at this than they are. And in one sense, their hands are tied. What are you going to do, sue? What are you going to do, tell people that they shouldn't get an extension of the benefits? I mean, no one made Congress not meet their deadline, right? They could have It wasn't any surprise when they passed this stupid, this legislation, spent $1 bazillion. It wasn't a surprise that it expired at the end of July. It didn't just happen to pop up on the radar a couple of weeks ago, and they thought, oh boy, what are we going to do about that? No, they've known this. Not Trump's responsibility that they didn't deal with this. Politically, I think this is masterful. I do. Now, whether the president should have done it, another question. Whether the president can do it is a question that could be raised if they sue. It's definitely, again, not the way that it's supposed to work. But again, Congress has passed that responsibility over to the executive. So it's not as cut and dry as it might have been when they founded the nation because of Congress's inability to lead and get things done and actually take responsibility for anything. And I'm long in this segment. Got to take a time out. Listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. Be careful, by the way. My vast team of attorneys told me to make sure I advise you that listening to this program can, in fact, cause you to lean to the right. So if you're operating heavy equipment this morning or whenever you're listening, just be aware of that very important fact. Be back here in just a minute.
Like what you hear on Todd's show? Why not get more by signing up for Todd's free Semi-Sweet Morsels of Truth newsletter? To subscribe, visit toddhuffshow.com/subscribe or text HUFF to 31996.
Our word can't be diluted because we are taught that a promise is a commitment in which you always follow through. No ifs, ands, or buts. So every time you walk through Greg Hubler Chevrolet doors, you can count on the advice and expertise we provide you. Because when we make a promise, we keep it. Greg Hubler Chevrolet. Promise kept. Visit GregHublerChevy.com. Find new roads.
The printing industry has changed a lot since we opened for business in 1931, but what our clients expect from us really hasn't changed. Quality print, fast turnaround, and competitive prices. Over 86 years and 3 generations. Why not put that experience to work for you? Call 317-353-2224 and mention discount code RADIO to receive 10% off your first order. Call Moeller Printing at 317-353-2224.
Radon is an invisible, odorless gas that kills more people than drunk driving. In fact, radon is the leading cause of lung cancer in non-smokers. Is radon threatening the health of your family? Call Radon Environmental at 317-843-0804. Radon Environmental specializes in radon testing and mitigation. The process is quick, easy, and worth it. Radon Environmental wants to make sure your family's health is not at risk. Call 317-843-0804.
When life is hard for the women you care about, there is help with issues such as widowhood, anxiety, depression, or abuse. They don't have to go through it alone. Peace Restored is there to walk with women through the journey. Peace Restored helps women through free mentoring, counseling, and education. When life is hard, Peace Restored is there to help women you care about find hope and healing. To learn more, visit peacerestored.net.
Ever ask yourself, what does my business insurance actually cover? Well, at AIA and Avon, we think you deserve to know. AIA is focused on earning your trust. We've found that when we educate our clients and truly listen to them, they allow us to work alongside them to put together the insurance plan they need. Whether your business is big or small, give AIA a call, 317-718-1747, or find out what we can do for you at AIA4lowrates.com. Advertisement sponsored by Grange Insurance.
Hey Indianapolis, by now you've probably heard about Jody Dowdle with Midwest Tax Group. Jody and his team are experts at helping you prepare your personal or small business tax returns. You can count on Midwest Tax Group to get every deduction possible and work for your higher refund. And not just on this year's taxes, they'll check your prior returns for any tax savings you may have missed for free. Are you behind on filing your returns? They can file past due returns and help negotiate with the IRS too. They complete most tax returns within a week and charge an affordable, flat fee, no hourly billing. And as their client, you can consult with the team at Midwest Tax Group year-round at no charge. Midwest Tax Group has 4 office locations in Castleton, Greenwood, Plainfield, and Greenfield, with evening and weekend appointments available. Schedule your appointment today at 317-288-5260. That's 317-288-5260. Or visit their website at mwtaxgroup.com. Midwest Tax Group can help you more than any piece of software ever could.
Are you an electrician, plumber, or handyman looking for an 8-to-5 job that pays you what you're worth? Copper Ridge Home Services wants you. Our veteran-owned family business offers holiday pay, weekends off, and on-site training for entry-level positions. Our team is growing, so if you have a can-do attitude, we want you to be part of that growth. Ready for a change? Give Copper Ridge a call at 317-839-6100. That's 317-839-6100. Copper Ridge Home Services. We value your time.
Welcome back. Got a question actually from a friend of mine listens to this program. He's I want to be careful how I describe him because we're good friends. We all the way back to high school, but I think he would tell you he's a liberal, I think is what he would say. He messaged me and asked me the question about, hey, what do you think about, let me read it here. He says, bear with me here. What do you think of people opting not to go back to work because of the federal unemployment benefit? I have talked to many people in California and Indiana, and I can tell you that, in my opinion, it's totally bogus, but also understandable. What do you think? So basically, after some back and forth clarifications, he said to me he's basically saying that people are not refusing to go back to work because they're getting $600 in a federal, but they were. That's of course come to an end. Trump is apparently working on, through an executive order, trying to make that $600, $400 through the end of the year, I believe. My understanding. Again, there's a lot of details and question marks here, and of course there's potential legal challenges. Then there's the question of whether the states are going to comply, because states are apparently on the hook for 100 of those $400 per week. So there's lots of questions as to what happens next. But Trump has definitely made it clear where he stands on this, and he's kind of carved this area out. He's taken this is the hill that Trump has staked his flag in, his metaphorical flag, Make America Great Again flag, or his Trump 2020 flag. So the question really is this $600 benefit really keeping people, $600 weekly benefit, keeping people from going back to work? Would people really do that? And you've seen studies. I've seen actually today as I looked this up, looking some things up, studies that say, of course, studies can prove anything. Line from the movie JFK, theoretical physics can prove that an elephant can hang off the side of a cliff with its tail tied to a daisy. Right? But we have something more important than that. We've got common sense, and we know that cannot happen. And so there's an element of that here, because my first question is, studies are showing apparently that people are not using this. And, there's other factors. They knew that the benefit would run out, so there's no sense in staying on it forever. But you're also seeing that it could be extended. And a lot of people, or some people, are not very forward thinking. They'll worry about tomorrow when tomorrow gets here. But if they can get some traction through the day on $600 a week, then that's where they're going to stay for a while. But I think even if you had well-meaning Americans, if they understood, if they were, this is the problem: capitalism versus socialism. This is what's exposed. We learned this through the early days of our nation. We learned how people, when there was, communal lands, would treat it differently. We know that people would pick crops. This is not disputable. People, if it was a communal piece of property that had fields that was growing corn, people would pick, say, an ear of corn, for an example. If it was owned by everybody instead of just one person, they would pick the corn earlier because of fear that when they came back through the next time, that piece of corn would be gone. So people would do things like that, and also clearly disincentivize some people to work because they could get the same amount of food for doing nothing. Now, there were still people that performed the work, but not as many. Not as many as people, and people were not productive. And so this is human nature. Some people fight it better. Some people have a bit of a moral compass, and they say it's just the right thing to do, so I'm going to do it no matter what. But at some point, there's something magical that comes from a decision that says that where I'm forced, right? Where circumstances are such that it forces me to just, you've heard the analogy of the caterpillar and the cocoon. If you help a caterpillar bust out of the cocoon, you actually hurt its ability to develop its wings, because it's that struggle, that process that pushes, I don't know if it's the blood or it helps activate and strengthen the wings so that they're ready to be used when it comes out of that cocoon and to be a butterfly. And so if there's not that process, right, where you're forced to go through these refining moments. We talked about this in a sense yesterday at church, the refining process of making gold pure. It's a refining process that's hot, turns up the heat. There's a lot of pressure. You take that away, and you really take away what benefits the human being. And so the nature is, look, when things get tough, I'd rather, take it easy instead of fight through it. And so there's a series of consequences that happen when you're going to get the same no matter what. The problem is when enough people don't do as much work and are not as productive, then it drops the expectation, because productivity is actually what it is, total productivity. And when people there's no incentive to be more productive, they become less productive. And so the question in my mind is as simple as, if you could get paid $400 a week to do your job, or $600 a week to not do it, why would we think that some people don't choose the $600? I'm not saying it's all. Again, for reasons I just laid out, some people would say, no, I'm going to work. I take pride in my work. Okay. Some people are going to say this is temporary. It's not forever. Okay. But some are going to say, why would I take a pay cut to do this? And 65% of people, according to research, 65% of people have found that they make more temporarily through unemployment benefits, before they expired, by the way, than they did through their job. Anyway, long in this segment, really long. Got to take a break. Be back here in just a minute.
Listen to Todd's show on your way to work, but want to hear more? Don't miss a beat. Visit toddhuffshow.com/listen to catch the program anytime, anywhere.
The compassion of Christ compels us to stop what we're doing and seek that person out. I think as Jesus went, in that famous song I sang as a little kid was Zacchaeus, come down. Zacchaeus was in a tree and he wanted to engage with Jesus, but he just couldn't, and Jesus stopped and he went over to him. If we are going to live a life of compassion, the compassion of Christ, are we willing to stop and seek those who need a touch of compassion today?
Seems like just yesterday that you couldn't find a quiet place to think in your home. Now all the kids have flown the nest and you find yourself wondering what to do with all of that extra space. This is Bruce of Bruce Richardson Realty. My team and I understand that life changes, and so do your home needs. So whether you're downsizing or upsizing, give us a call at 317-507-3285. Let us help you find the best fit for your residential or your commercial property needs. 317-507-3285.
Healthcare is expensive and complicated. Did you know that as a Christian business owner, it is possible to provide access to affordable health benefits for your employees? Remodel Health has helped employers across the United States save over $22 million in the past 3 years. Our innovative approach allows your employees to have the health benefits they need at a cost you can afford. Go to remodelhealth.com/Todd to help your employees find the healthcare they deserve. Remodel Health. Rethink employee health benefits.
We all know having health insurance doesn't always equal health care. That's why at Freedom HealthWorks, we believe the key to maintaining good health is based on a straightforward, personal relationship with your physician. With our direct doctor-patient relationship model, we remove your healthcare middleman and replace him with transparent pricing and incentive to call your doctor at the first sign of illness. So if you're ready to experience real care from a doctor that really cares about you, go to freedomhealthworks.com and learn more about the benefits of our direct primary care model. Freedom HealthWorks. Be treated better.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
Hi, my name is John Swadner, Sales Director of the Todd Huff Show. As a listener of the program, you know the show is growing. 4 years ago, it began as a podcast in a closet. Today, it's a 2-hour show that airs during morning drive in Indy and in Utah, and we're just scratching the surface. Todd brought me on board to help the show and our advertisers grow. That's why I'm specifically looking for partners who are a good fit to advertise with us. Would that be you? To learn more about what advertising would look like and to determine if it's a good fit for your business, shoot me an email to john@toddhuffshow.com. And be sure to ask me about some of our special packages that will save you up to 40%. Email john@toddhuffshow.com. Shoot me an email today.
Welcome back. So this is important to understand. I mean, the one of the reasons, there's lots of reasons, but things like socialism do not work is because it denies, the ideology denies human nature. It denies what human nature is. It assumes incorrectly that mankind is flawless and will always choose good. And that's just simply not the way that it works. In fact, from a Christian perspective, and look, we're made in the image of God. And so we have within us, I mean, we're the model upon which we're, the model of humanity is based. The original design template is God himself. So that's flawless. So even people that use their choices for bad, which we all do at some point and to some degree our entire lives, but the point to which we're fundamentally made in the image of the perfect creator. Now, we've used our choices. The Bible calls it sin, missing the mark. That's what we've done. We've used our freedom and our choices to do things that are not good and pure and admirable, those sorts of things. And so that's where problems come in. So there's this conflict. But the idea that humanity always chooses the right path or the good path is just living with our head in the sand. Now, the left will tell you, the radical left, the communist left will say the reason is because we didn't have the perfect leader. That's the reason communism failed. I had to listen to this nonsense in college. But the problem is there is no benevolent leader. Well, that's one of the problems. Plus, it fundamentally misunderstands how God created us to live, which is to be free, to be able to pursue the dreams, ambitions, desires, the calling that he's placed upon our lives. And no government should try to get in the way of that, interfere with that. They should be trying to remove obstacles so as to allow people to reach the fullest potential that they possibly can. But given, again, back to the original question I talked about last segment, given the choice between doing no work and getting $600 a week or doing your normal job and getting $400 or whatever it is, the idea that nobody would choose to take the benefit over work just seems to me to be a slap in the face of common sense. Not to say everybody will, not to say some people don't look at the long term, not to say some people don't have the integrity, but I'm telling you, over time, and the more this stuff is done, it erodes that moral fabric. It's a temptation to make us make those choices that are not so admirable. So, anyway, got to take a break. Come back and wrap up hour number 2. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I am your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Is it possible to be a fan of the show if you don't have the gear to prove it? Why not be safe and remove all doubt? Shop for official merchandise at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
The compassion of Christ compels us to stop what we're doing and seek that person out. I think as Jesus went in that famous song I sang as a little kid was Zacchaeus, come down. Zacchaeus was in a tree and he wanted to engage with Jesus, but he just couldn't, and Jesus stopped and he went over to him. If we are going to live a life of compassion, the compassion of Christ, are we willing to stop and seek those who need a touch of compassion today?
All right, here we go. $100 down, $200 down, back at $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freege, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegeAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freege, Freije, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegeAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freege, owner and lead auctioneer at Freege & Freege Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
Geothermal tax credits are back, making this the perfect time to install a new Climate Master geothermal system. Take advantage of this limited time 26% tax credit and begin cutting your heating and cooling bills immediately. Visit indianageothermal.com/info to get your free Climate Master information kit or call 317-829-1490. Visit indianageothermal.com/info or call 317-829-1490. Geothermal, it's cheaper than you think.
Our partner, Global Plasma Solutions, has published ionization testing results that demonstrate a 99.4% reduction rate on a SARS-CoV-2 COVID-19 surface strain within 30 minutes. This is the first instance that an air purification company has effectively neutralized SARS-CoV-2. Commercial Service Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is installing this solution in businesses and homes in South Central Indiana. Get your free information kit at commercialservice.com/info. Commercial Service, commercial-grade service for your home.
Business leaders, are your employees satisfied with their jobs? Do they enjoy coming to work and feel valued? Workforce Chaplains can help. Locally owned, we work with organizations to provide holistic care to their employees. I'm Marcus Schrader, President of Workforce Chaplains, and we offer your team a 24/7 support system that positively affects your company's culture and productivity. With our personalized pricing and diverse support system, we handle the issues that you wish you had time for. To learn more, visit us at workforcechaplains.com.
Anxiety, depression, relationship problems, past trauma. Problems rarely get better when given time. Care to Change Counseling can help. Our professionals combined evidence-based care models with scripture to get you on the path to a productive life. We are here to help you make the changes you need for a healthier, happier you. Take that brave step today. Call Care to Change at 317-790-9396 or visit caretochange.org.
Welcome back. Waning seconds of hour number 2. Again, I want to say as we wrap up here, I did this at the end of last hour as well. Thank you. Thank you for helping us. It's been 5 years, which again, depending upon which side of the fence you're sitting on or where, how long you've been involved with this program or what you know about just launching a business and all of that, may sound like a really long time or the blink of an eye. But I want to say thank you. This is our 5-year anniversary. 5 years ago today, started podcasting in one of our bedroom closets. It was my wife's bedroom closet. And it's crazy how fast time goes. But I am honored. Thank you so much for making this program possible. Truly appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. SDG. See you soon. As a listener of this program,